ke atas. Enak buat landing terus, touch and go lagi nih. Lagi.
Tapi kok kayaknya badannya mirip sama itu ya, makanya.
Hello guys, it's me Ken Julius. Welcome to my channel. In this episode, we're going to make this Piper Seneca 2. This Piper Seneca is produced by Piper Aircraft. The latest version is Seneca 5. This is Seneca 2. I love the Seneca 2 because it still has the frame on the windshield like this. Piper Seneca 5 doesn't have that, and also the cabin design, the front cabin design also different. This plane was on my wish list, and finally I can get my hand on this type of aircraft. And also the first time I use the motor for quad race or drone race. This is 2305 drone race motor. It's very thin compared to the motor that I often use, and also it uses small ESC like this. This is 30M ESC. In quad race, the ESC always on the outsides, exposed to the air, so I did the same like this. The shape and the profile of the wing is the same as Piper Cherokee. This model haven't fly yet. I hope it can fly as good as Piper Cherokee because the wing is the same. Although I already tried the thrust of both motor with 6-inch three-blade propeller, I think it's sufficient to make this plane airborne, but we'll see tomorrow. The weight of this plane is about 900 grams. Look at this plane, it's beautiful. Okay guys, let's build this plane. Check this out. The plans is free, you can download it on my website. There's a direct link on this video's description. Cut the parts and join them with sellotape. And then trace them onto foam board. I use 5mm Depron or polyfoam. Okay, first we need to cut all plywood formers. Start assembling the fuselage by following these steps. Apply the glue one section at a time like this. You need to wait at least 30 seconds until the glue is set on each gluing process. You can use stopwatch or by looking at your watch or a clock. Yeah, I mean it, seriously it helps. That way you are not guessing the time when the glue is ready, and also not wasting time. Paint these two formers black, so the plywood color will not visible from outside. Insert this former like this. Just follow the drawing plans. Because the top fuselage will be curved, so you need to make the foam easier to bend by making score lines on the inside side like this. And use heat gun and metal pipe to curve them. You need to sand the edges like this, so it will nicely fit. Continue to attach parts for building the fuselage. I use styrofoam block like this to make the nose section. And also for the small section on the tail. Wet sand all surfaces with medium 240 sandpaper. Here is when all sharp edges already rounded after wet sanding. Use guides from the plans to cut the window. Curve the wing parts using heat gun and metal pipe like this. Follow these steps to make the wing. Mark the wing joiner position just behind the foam spar like this. Sand the leading edge and trailing edge like this. I use this type of sand cloth. We need to glue the top part of the wing, one section at a time. Use styrofoam block for the wingtip. Cut the aileron and prepare it like this. Patch the hole from aileron cutting with foam. Combine the two half wings together with wing joiner. And then fill any gap with hot glue. Sand into rounded shape the leading and trailing edge of this vertical stabilizer. After cutting the rudder, sand the leading edge like this. Mark the stabilizer position on the tail. And cut it to make a hole like this. Also sand the leading and trailing edge of the horizontal stabilizer. cut and do the same for the elevator. Make score lines on the back side of the foam for easier bending like this. Follow these steps to make engine cowls. Make a hole on the last former for motor cable. And then sand the back part so it has smooth transition to the wing. Stack 3 layers of foam to make the front end. Cut the bottom of the fuselage by using a guide from the plans to mount the wing. Make sure the left and the right drawing are symmetrical. Cut the front portion to allow the wing to fit perfectly. I use 7mm plywood to make the wing mounting platform to receive the screw. Place and glue them on the fuselage like this. I use gypsum screw to screw the wing. And like usual, add mica plastic to protect the foam. Cut the servo holes on the bottom of the wing like this. And also cut holes for motor and servo cables on top of the wing. You need to add extension cables for aileron servo. And then insert the cables and pull it out on the wing root like this. Attach the rudder and elevator servo on the plywood platform like this. I use cheap 9-gram plastic gear servo for all control surfaces. Cut the engine cowl to install the firewall like this. I use 7mm plywood for the firewall. Make a hole for motor cable on the firewall. I use drone race motor 2305 brushless motor. You also need to extend the motor cables. Make a hole to fit the motor profile. Here I use white packing tape for the covering. I start from the bottom side first. Use covering iron to smooth the wrinkle. For end of the tape that stick directly to the foam, you can use hot glue to help them stick to the foam. For the curved surface like the nose, you need to cut the tape into small pieces and attach them overlapping like this. I use mica plastic that coated with paper masking tape for the rudder hinges. Also do the same for the elevator. You can install the stabilizer once they are covered with tapes. Okay, after all parts are covered, we can attach the engine cowl with the wing. The cables from the motor came out to the bottom side of the wing. Solder the ESC there. I use 30M small ESC. Peel off some of the covering tape before applying glue. And then insert ESC cable and came out to the top of the wing on the wing root. Test the motor rotation, make sure both motor has inward rotation. Here I use 0.5mm mica plastic to make the windshield. I put middle heat on the stove to soften the plastic and use motorcycle helmet as a mold. And then by using a guide from the plans, cut the windshield. I use EVA foam to help installing the windshield. Here I make the dashboard with scrap vinyl stickers. Use Uhu glue to attach the windshield. Now I am making the glass for the cabin's window. Use 0.3mm or thinner for the side window. Use vinyl stickers to make the frame. I use 30 micron laminating film for the color variation. I paint the film on the backside with dark blue before applying it. You can see more detailed video on how I paint the film on Douglas DC3 Part 4 build video. And use painted small masking tape for another color variation. Apply air intake holes on the engine with stickers. And then finally apply the decal. I use 3mm plywood for landing gear base, coated with masking tape for painting. Here I use 2.5mm wire from bicycle wheel spoke wire for the landing gear strut. Just follow the plans to bend the wire. Attach the wire to the base like this using CA glue. Make holes around the wire to tie the wire with cable zip ties. And then paint the base with dark blue to match the color of the bottom nose. Here I use 45mm foam wheel, make stopper with sewing thread and CA glue. Place the strut just in the middle of the length of the nose. Peel off the covering tape before applying glue and then attach the main landing gear. I use painted masking tape for these de-icing boots. And also for the anti-slip wing walk. The CG is 3.5 cm from the leading edge. Cut the battery hedge door according to the plans. Apply more packing tapes to protect the uncovered foam. Use 3mm EVA foam to prevent the lid from falling down inside, like this. I use locking system using mica plastic like this. And then add styrofoam inside to block the battery from moving to the front. This is how I attach the spinner. The spinner is made from paper covered with packing tape. Cut holes for rudder and elevator push rods. Make push rod guides by using paper covered with packing tape like this. Install elevator push rod and connect it to the servo arm. Glue the push rod guide to the fuselage. I use servo arm for control rod and connect it with cruise-in terminal. I use EVA foam to hold the push rod guide near the servo. Do the same on the rudder side. And finally add push rod for ailerons.
Terus ini apa? Cherokee terbangnya. Persis banget Cherokee. Itu kenapa tuh kayaknya?
Okay guys, that's the maiden flight. I think it was very successful maiden flight. I love this plane so much because it is a very good flyer. It has the same characteristic as the Piper Cherokee, but it's more powerful with 2 motors, and landing is very easy too because the landing gear 3-cycle configuration. I recommend you to build this plane because I think it's not very hard to make and also very scale. So this is the perfect plane for closing this year 2020, this horrible year. I hope and we all hope that we will see the brighter future on 2021. I will see you next year flying the first time Douglas DC-3. Thanks for watching and thank you for all your support this year. And if you want to support me even more, you can join the membership. You can find the join button just beside the subscribe button. Okay guys, this project is already finished. We'll see you again next year. Merry Christmas everyone and happy holiday.